Thanks for being here today. Got a lot of things I want to get to today. First of all, Team Man. You know, fantasy football, so many times, it's a game of luck. See, there are some weeks where you outscore every team but one, and that just so happens to be the team you're playing, and you lose the game anyway. And then there's other times when you only outscore one team, but you beat them. And that's what happened this past week. Going into Monday night, I'm down, I'm sweating, I'm unsure. But Michael Vick and Jeremy Macklin pulled out a victory for the stud stable against Mo Man, who just has run his mouth, he's jumping people, and so we just sent him further and further down into the cellar. Now, I want to address our esteemed commissioner. You see, while other commissioners around this world of fantasy football leagues, and I'm a commissioner myself, so I know what I'm talking about. Our commissioner is not out there just kind of letting the league run rampant. He's not out there not caring. He's out there delivering the goods. And last week, he delivered the nature boy, Ric Flair, to all of us. We saw his promo. We heard what he said. So, Mr. Perfect, Michael Jernigan, I'm so sorry. So sorry you've lost 2 games in a row. But I commend you. I applaud you for bringing the man who this league is named after, bringing him in. And so I don't blame you. I don't blame you for the stupidity that man spewed. So let me address Ric Flair right now. Ric Flair, first of all, let me say that you're so old now that as I'm watching your video, it looks like a bad Jam Patterson impersonation. That's what it looks like. Let me also say this. Ric Flair not only owes everybody else money, he owes me $5 from 1991 following a wrestling event at the Anderson Civic Center. He and Arnold Anderson are at the gas station trying to buy some food for the way home. Didn't have enough to cover the bill. A young Heath Mullikin gave them $5, let them buy their chips, let them buy their drinks, sent them on their way. Ric Flair got in his car and just looked at him and said, "Woo!" right there. Because he knew I just gave him $5. I knew I'd never see that $5 again. Ric Flair, you talked about a lot of people, but number one, you talked about the stud stable. Do you know what you said about the stud stable? You compared me to Mike Ditka. You said I come out here every week and I look like Mike Ditka. Let me tell you, I consider that a compliment. The man is a Hall of Famer. He won a Super Bowl. So for you to compare me to Mike Ditka, I consider that a compliment. Now, I don't know what you mean. I come out here every week. If you look over the past 2 years, who made the first video? This guy right here. Who's made the most videos? This guy right here. I haven't hid behind anyone. I'm out here week after week after week. And if you want to put me down for that, you go right ahead. Because it doesn't matter what the Nature Boy says. The stud stable sets the tone for this league. Everybody waits every single week because they know every Tuesday, boom, stud stable's going to be here. If we lose, we're going to own up to it. And if we win, we're going to tell everybody about it. Now, having seen Ric Flair last week talking all this smack and seeing him get jumped by the Mo Man, I thought about our little league, and I thought about the people in our league, and I thought about, who do they represent? Who do they remind me of? You see, you've got teams like Big Chief Wahoo and Mr. Mountain West. You see, they remind me of the Nasty Boys. They remind me of a guy named Brutus Beefcake. You see, those guys were nothing on their own. But because they were best friends with Hulk Hogan, they got to be on TV. They got to be in championship matches. They got to be in the big time. Same thing for you guys. You guys are from Denton. You know the commish. He lets you in the league. It's not on any merit of your own. I mean, let's get real. Mr. Mountain West, we don't care what you've done west of the Mississippi. You're only in this league because you're buddies with the commission. That's the bottom line. You got guys like Tatanka and Chase Smith, owner of Jam Loves the NBA, and they're the outsiders. They're coming from the outside, and everybody's wanting to get them out of the league because we don't really know them and we don't really want them. And they're the outsiders. They're trying to come in and shake things up. And Chase Smith, he'll go down in history as the first team to ever beat the Stud Stable. That's his claim to fame. And then you got the Jericho-holics, Flair's Hair, Mr. Wonderful, Team Mo-Man. You see, they're all related. They're like the Heart Foundation. Anybody who was an in-law, an uncle, a cousin, they're part of this group and they stick together and they're going to try to work some deals and they're going to try to help each other. And see, Mo-Man, he's big time because he's in more than one group, because not only is Mo-Man the leader of what I call the Heart Foundation, of this family entity, but he's also in there with the icon Jam Patterson. He's in there with Mr. Perfect. He's in there with the enforcer AA Lee Brim. And they're the main event mafia. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? They're a little bit past their prime. They're a gimmick that's not going to last too long. And they think, just like the mafia, that they control everything in this league. And so when a great team like the Stud Stable tries to make a trade, these guys call each other, and they call all their buddies, and they veto the trades that the Stud Stable's trying to do. And they try to hold every other team down. The sad thing is they don't even like each other. They make fun of each other, but they don't even know that. And then finally, you got me. You've got Heath Mullikin. You got the Stud Stable. And who am I? Simply put, I'm the Vince McMahon in this league. I own this league. Before anybody does anything in this league, they call me. They look at me. What does the Stud Stable make a video? What does Stud Stable say in their video? I own it. I control this league. I am the champion. I carry the banner of this league. I go all around the world representing the Flair for the Gold Fantasy Football League. And not only are we the best, the premier fantasy football league in the world, but just like Vince McMahon, we're trying to put everybody else out of business. So that in a few years, you go on Yahoo Sports, there's only going to be one fantasy league. And that's the Flair for the Gold Fantasy Football League. And that's really what unites all of us. That's what gets us all to look past our differences. Because we try to beat each other week after week after week. But we know that at the end of the day, it's about being the best. And that's what we are. And we don't need Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Now, I don't even know if that was Ric Flair. It would look more like Buddy Landell. A poor imitation. But we don't need him to come and tell us how great we are. Because we're the Stud Stable. That says we're great. That says we're great. And the fact that you're all here week after week after week, wanting to get the news, wanting to get the headlines, that says we're great. This week, Mr. Wonderful, no. I'm going to put you and keep you where you belong, and that's in the cellar of the league. Because I can. Because we're the Stud Stable. Have a great week. Talk to you next week.